Yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. Well, folks, it's all because of this. This is dumpykong's Wheel of Mods, a collection of Minecraft Bedrock add-ons that I thought looked interesting. And today, I'll be using it to turn my life into a waking nightmare. You see, lately, I've been playing hardcore Minecraft with some of my friends.
Queep was gonna queep, yo!
I have a stack of iron, bro. Come on, dude.
And after about 30 resets with no real success, I wondered if maybe it would be possible to beat it by myself. But if you know me, you know that I can't do anything the simple way. That's where the Wheel of Mods comes back into play, because what I'll be doing is trying to beat hardcore Minecraft, but if I die, I've got to spin this wheel and add whatever mod it lands on, then I'll be stuck with that mod until I've completed the challenge. Some mods are good things, like the Totems mod that gives you lots of options for buffs, or the Player Evolved mod that also gives you lots of options for buffs. But there's a few mods that are going to be the reason I reset as much as I do, because spoiler alert, this is not going to be a one and done challenge. Well, between those mods and the fact that I haven't played this game since the Bees update in like 2019. But what exactly does beating Minecraft mean? Well, to me, I'd say it consists of 6 things. Getting to the Nether, defeating the Ender Dragon, the Wither, and a Warden, building a house you're proud of, which is pretty subjective, but I'll hold myself to a certain standard, and surviving at least 50 days. That way you don't go through things too quickly. If I can manage to accomplish all those things, then I will have, in my mind at least, successfully beaten hardcore Minecraft. That's enough introing. Just subscribe and we can get started. Go ahead. Just hit the button. Hit the button, please. Come on, man, I want to play the game. Alright, I'm gonna assume you hit the button, but if you didn't, I hope the cave dweller creeps in through your window and tickles your butt. So getting right into my first world, I have no mods, because I haven't died yet, and because it's the first world, I'm going to talk a little longer about this one than I will some of the others. I spent the first few minutes doing my usual routine when I start a world, get some wood, make stone tools, and then go out and get some food so that I can explore without starving to death. Night was quickly approaching though, so I hopped on a boat and went looking for a village. I didn't find one, but what I did find was a ruined nether portal. I took some of the magma blocks around the portal, and then used a little mining strat to get some underwater resources. If you stand one block above and next to a magma block, then you can breathe underwater. Breathing or not though, you are still liable to run into some trouble with the drowned. I continued mining for pretty much the entire second day until I eventually found a big old cave. I had the food, I had the tools, I figured hey, why not? It took all of 15 seconds for me to find some signs of the deep dark. Now, to be clear, I did not know anything about the deep dark or the warden prior to playing the game for this video. So I had no idea what may be lying in wait. I stopped to upgrade my gear a bit and then kept on pretty carelessly. I was a little thrown off by the freaky grass things, but then I got a big scare when this block screamed at me. Then it was just a little bit later that he appeared. Well, okay, I couldn't see him, but I could damn sure hear him. That was enough for me, so I started digging as far away as I could possibly get, leading me back to the surface. Unfortunately, that surface was a snowy mountain biome, and I learned pretty quickly just how annoying the snow can be. I scaled one of the mountain peaks just to see if I could spot anything interesting from up there. And hey, I did! I ran to that outpost, but once I was there, things turned south pretty quickly. Apparently, I'm not much of a fighter, so I cut my losses and got out of there. We were off to a rough start, so I wanted to slow it down a bit and build a little base. It's nothing crazy, but it'll do for now. I found a big hole near my house, and curiosity is a lethal condition, one that almost took me out right here. I shook off that fall and did some spelunking. I was in that cave fighting and mining for almost 2 whole days, and by the time I got out, I had officially survived 1 whole week. Not bad for my first world. My friends and I had only been able to survive a max of 5 days, so this felt pretty good. After a decent night's rest, I hit the open sea once again, still in search of that village. I don't know if it's just me, but I always feel like if I haven't found a village yet, then my playthrough hasn't really started. After embarrassing some pillagers in their own home, I did finally come across a village not too far away. I protected the inhabitants from some zombies and such, and then took a well-earned rest. That next day went fast. All I really got to do before nightfall was steal some of their crops and stock up more on food. On day 12, I found yet another cave. This one was littered with mobs though, and after having no real luck loot-wise and getting roughed up by some endermen, I was ready to go home. I emerged from the cave the night after I had entered it, and after getting some shut-eye, I hopped back on my boat and started my ride back to my little hut. Now, Something I've come to accept about myself, and something you'd be wise to remember as this video continues, is that my attention span is, basically non-existent. I see ship, I jump in ship. I find map, I follow map. I dig for treasure, I dig for treasure. I get stuck underwater. I lost. Somebody help me! Shoot. Cause of death, that lethal disease I mentioned earlier, curiosity. Well, hey, at least we get to spin the wheel, right guys? I mean, it's kind of exciting. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, that's the worst thing that could happen. The Dwellers mod, for those unaware, is a mod that adds in nearly a dozen creepy creatures to the Minecraft world. Some are more troublesome than others, but they're all guaranteed to mess with me at least a little bit. Well, the mod has been added, and I'm starting off just like I did last time. Got my stone tools, ruined an entire ecosystem with my hunting, and then found a village. Now, a little tip for you all is that a quick way to get iron in Minecraft is to build up next to an iron golem and... Cause of death, too short. Wow, that was pretty embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. Let's give this bad boy a spin and see what we get this time. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Magic Spell mod introduces a new spells and mana mechanic, and while I won't end up exploring these spells that extensively until later, I'd absolutely call it a win. What wasn't a win was World 3. I mean, it started off fine, did my normal routine, but then that night the fog rolled in, and I was not excited for what may come from that. Thankfully, I found a village near my spawn, and I was able to... Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the knocker. We're gonna be seeing a lot of him. In the morning, I explored the... Why the fuck? Okay, Knocker, you're really getting on my nerves. I taunted him by slamming some doors, but after I gathered some resources, I was ready to... Cause of death, the Knocker. We can all agree that that was some malarkey, right? Malarkey, I know. I'm trying to clean up my language for the younger viewers. Leave me alone. All right, Wheel, please be nice to me. Oh, sweet. That's probably gonna get ignored. You guys know the drill by now. Get some stone tools, kill some animals, and get... Cause of death, karma. Well, hey, at least that'll be a tough record to beat. Wheel, what do you got? Oh man, that's not good. World 5 started off great. I found a village right away, and then I... Oh, come on! Cause of death, not learning my lesson. Okay, Iron Golems, you guys win. I'm not messing with you anymore. Oh, sweet. Dynamic light is pretty nice. It lets you hold torches, and I don't really know what else it does, honestly. All right, no cutting off mid-sentence and dying this time, because I was finally ready to have a real start. I had to step away for a minute, though, so I built myself into a little cubby. I was gone for, like, less than 5 minutes, and when I came back, there was this weird black fog and some intense music. And when I looked out of the hole, there was a freaky goat man trying to get me. This is one of the dwellers, literally called Goat Man, and I didn't, and still really don't, know anything about him. When it seemed he had finally disappeared, I just picked a direction and ran. This is when I ran into something that I would only encounter once, and I have no clue what on earth it was. I tried to kill this cow, and... Oh, fuck. Is it following me? Aw, dude. Yeah. I want no part of whatever that thing is. There was a village nearby, and I hunkered down there. The Knocker left me a nice little message. That's great. Thanks, buddy. And then I almost got killed by a witch from the grave. To be totally safe, I just slept underground. Dude, what is that? Motherfucker, leave me alone. Yeah, that guy's mostly harmless from what I can tell, but I'd be damned if he didn't raise my blood pressure a little. I decided to stay away from the surface for a bit, and I got to mining. The nice thing about the Dwellers mod is that even when you're underground, the fog will still appear and let you know that it's time to go to bed. By the next day, I had a full set of iron armor and wasn't too worried about the mobs closing in around me. You could never have enough iron though, so I got... That's awesome. Cause of death, creeper's gonna creep, yo. You know, it's hard to even be mad about that. Like, yes, I was in full iron armor, but getting killed by a creeping creeper in 2025 is extremely funny. Let's see what the wheel has to say about that. Aw yeah, baby, I love cats and dogs. World 7 was interesting from the jump. The village I spawned next to was like one I had never seen before, but then I was climbing above the village for God only knows what reason, and then I started to hear some weird music. Oh, what the hell is that? I could tell pretty quickly that this was Krampus, yet another one of the Dwellers. He sends crows to attack you, and while they don't do that much damage, they're still dangerous, especially when I have no armor. Everything eventually stopped on its own though, but that was the least of my worries at this point. There were so many dang mobs up in this village that I literally had to fight my way. Oh man. Cause of death, breaking and entering. Man, it's getting tougher and tougher to get a solid start to these runs. Well, let's see if the next mod helps us out a little. Huh, I guess not. So, the Cave Dweller is a mod that adds one new mob, the Cave Dweller. He'll stalk you, he'll follow you, and if you're unlucky enough, he will attack you. So, yeah. Not ideal. As I got into World 8, things looked bleak almost right away. I had found a village, but on day 2, that dang goat man returned and harassed me for almost the entire day. I'm not sure exactly why, but at some point he just vanished. But literally only 30 or so seconds later, I saw another familiar face. Dude, is that the guy? What's wrong with you, guy? Cause of death, that dang knocker. And we're spinning the wheel. Oh, that's not bad at all. Well, what was bad was World 9. I started in a snow biome, which sucks, and then I had my second long fall in this video that left me with just a single heart. By the time day 3 rolled around, the Minecraft gods themselves were after me, almost striking me with lightning, and then just 2 days later, they threw a damn tornado at me. Thankfully, I was above some water when it finally flung me out, but I was convinced that there was just no hope for this run. And I was right. It wasn't any gods that killed me, though, just my own stupidity. God damn, I fucking fell. Ugh. Cause of death, Creeper 2, the Creepening. Wheel, I could really use a pick-me-up right about now. Now that's what I'm talking about. The More Ores Tools Armor mod is sick, and it does exactly what you think it does. It adds new ores that lead to new equipment options. I felt great heading into World 10, like a new man. I got some iron right away, found a ruined portal with a massive cave next to it, and then even ran into a village. The only downer on day 1 was this freak who wouldn't let me sleep. I lovingly refer to this guy in my notes from here on as Jerk. Pretty creative, I know. Much scarier than Jerk, though, was the giant radio man thing that appeared. I didn't quite catch on at this point, but there's actually a little noise bar on the screen, and as long as you don't make too much noise, he'll stay friendly. With almost full iron armor and some iron tools, I went back over to that cave I found earlier and went searching for resources. This place was brutal though, like I was fending off mobs every 5 seconds. The dynamic light mod is nice because I can hold a torch, but by not putting torches down, I'm not really doing myself any favors when it comes to spawning mobs. Even the Cave Dweller got in on the action, ever so subtly following me around. Well, I should say subtly until it wasn't. Oh my god. I ran back to the village, and after a pleasant surprise from my good buddy, I went to sleep. In real life. It was like 3 in the morning. I spent almost the entire next 2 in-game days smelting the stuff I got from that cave trip, all the while being harassed by my best friend and Jerk. I made some actual friends, though, on day 6 when I picked up both Dumpy Dog and Doggy Kong. They may have been more of a stressor than I was prepared for, but on day 7, I decided I would try and play things safe and start strip mining. Now, personally, I despise strip mining, but it's a tried and true method of getting good stuff, so I sucked it up and got to digging. Eventually, the mineshaft I made led into an open area, and in there was an eldritch horror that I could not quite comprehend. I stayed way the hell away from it, though, and at Y-56, I started stripping. It didn't take long for me to come to a pretty horrifying realization, though. No fucking way. Come on, dude, get out of here. Oh, I didn't know he could be in here. That's he put my candles out, my torches. Yeah, I didn't even consider him appearing in a strip mine. The next time I saw him, though, he wasn't quite as passive. Oh my god. No. Dude, I hate that thing. He lured me into a false sense of security. I did not think he would attack me, but boy, was I wrong. Anyways, I mined until I found this massive cave, and may or may not have gotten lost in there for a day or two. It was day 13 when I was finally back to the surface. Of course, it was no happy return because I immediately got attacked by another tornado. I made it into my house, but one of my dogs wasn't strong enough to withstand it, and it killed them. I was understandably upset after that, and so when Jerk appeared that night, I tried to take my anger out on him. I could see he teleported outside, and so I chased after him just to run right into this. Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. Oh my god! No, man. Cause of death, blind rage, and the man from the fog. I was really bummed that things ended how they did because we were finally doing really well, but I did write in my notes here, you know what, I actually feel determined. This is the one. Wheel, help me make that statement a reality. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. World 11 started pretty normally, though I made a little house of my own this time. On day 2, I found a ravine not too far away, and in it was a creature I hadn't seen before. Why is it not even my name? Cause of death, cave dweller's mean little brother. Okay, you know what? Maybe next time I won't just stand there and stare at the monster like a slack-jawed idiot. Wheel, lay it on me. Yeah, I can be honest with you guys, right? I'm never using this mod. World 12 had a nice start. I got some zinc and coal right off the bat. I found another cavern too, but I had a little PTSD, so after getting banged up a bit, I burrowed underground. And then you know what happened down there? Dude. What? What does that even mean? Cause of death? Bullshit. I was really determined like a minute ago, and now I am down in the dumps. That's fine. This mod adds lots of new options for crafting, and though it's a little complicated for my blood, it's still neat. While I was still sulking after the last few runs, I did immediately have a good feeling about World 13, getting some iron and lots of fish right away. On the second day, I built a house that was much more secure than any of my previous attempts, and once that was done, I figured I might as well get to work on a mine. It led me into this cool open area, but I wasn't quite ready to make much of it yet. Of course, things happen whether you're ready or not. I am so over these scary mods, man. I really liked that opening I found, so the next day was spent littering the place with torches so that I could hopefully take it over at some point. But remember that eldritch horror from World 10? Well, it's back. This is actually a dweller called the All-Seeing One, and it is incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, it just disappeared on its own, but danger follows me everywhere I go, because I am the greatest of all dangers to myself. I saw some ore underwater, and... oh my fucking god. No, dude. I'm never going underwater again. Cause of death, drowned. That's a double entendre. And we're spinning the wheel. Oh, dude, finally, something that should help me out. The Totems mod adds dozens of new totems to the game, some that give you straightforward buffs, and some that let you use abilities or attributes of various mobs. Now look, I'm not even gonna waste your time pretending that World 14 was a real run. I ran into that big radio guy again, and in my notes, I wrote, okay, I gotta know what it does. Oh, he's coming at me. Oh. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's my bad. Cause of death, famous last words. And we are spinning the wheel. Okay, the dragons in this mod can be pretty dangerous, but I'm sure I'll totally remember to train them up and create a dragon army, right? Well, right away I found a cool dragon, and I thought we were homies at first. Is that a dragon? What's up, dude? Oh, but he made it clear he did not want to be my friend. Oh no. I ran away, and I ran, and I ran until I found a village. And then... Oh my god, you were still following me? Ah, that guy's an asshole. Cause of death, foamy. And we're... Yeah, you guys get it by now. Yeah, that's pretty much the worst thing that could have happened. Things are incredibly grim, and the snowy spawn didn't help my outlook much. I was able to make something called cursed armor though, which is sweet because it gives you a speed boost if you wear the full set. I was lucky enough to run into a village, and after gathering some supplies, I got right to mining. In a nearby cave, I met a new mob. No idea what it is, but I just called it Ghost Freak. For day 2 and 3, I exclusively mined and smelted ores. By the end, I had some decent armor, some decent weapons, and a newfound determination. And hey, while gathering some wood, I found a pink sheep. The wood I was grabbing was to build a house, and when I stumbled across this lake area, I knew this was the spot I wanted to build at. I made a stone platform out onto the water, made friends with a dog who I named Diddy, and I just this second realized that Diddy is kind of a ruined name now. That's a bummer. Sorry, Diddy Kong. And then I was sneak attacked by yet another dragon. It ended up stuck under the water somehow, and before I could do anything about it, a blizzard came out of nowhere. Diddy and I holed up underground and slept the whole mess off. Killing the dragon the next day was surprisingly easy, and then I spent the whole next few days building a house. It's nothing crazy, but it's cute, and it's good for what I need. And then yet another act of the Minecraft gods came, this time in the form of an earthquake. It messed up my house a little bit, but nothing that would be beyond a quick repair. I needed some more food, so with a fish totem, I swam around and played aim labs on the nearby marine life. When I got back to my house, I made some new friends. I unfortunately also made some new enemies that night. What I can only assume is a beholder, and a shark monster that was attacking me from under my house. But those would pale in comparison to those pesky Minecraft gods that hate me so very much. Oh. Oh no. Oh no! No, dude! Killed by an act of God, bro. It's just not fair. Cause of death, wrath. Well, at least that one was a real run, unlike the past few. Wheel, spin that track. Hey man, I'll take unremarkable over dangerous any day. World 17 didn't last long at all. I'm barely even gonna talk about it. But I can say I learned at least one thing. Don't hang around outside at night. Away from me. No, man. Oh my fucking god. And we're spinning the wheel. Sweet, this mod is pretty cool, and it probably won't get me killed. Now, I recorded the gameplay for this video over the course of like 2 weeks, and on this particular day, I had already died like 4 times. So I was feeling a little burned out. That's why, even though I had already survived like 3 days in this world, I was feeling no love for this run, which honestly led me to kinda throw. I wasn't trying to die on purpose, I was being pretty reckless, and I went out onto the water when I probably shouldn't have. No, no, no. 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 No, man. Cause of death? Carelessness. Alright, I gave it a day, and I am now determined to make things happen this time. The morph mod is sick. If you get close enough to a mob while holding the morph gauntlet, then you can turn into that mob. You'll get its buffs, its abilities, all that good stuff. And it's even compatible with the naturalist mod, which means you can turn into so many things. In the early game though, I'm still at the mercy of luck, and I got a pretty rough spawn. While desperately trying to get some food, I got knocked down to 3 hearts. So I tried to hide underground to wait out the night. But, of course, even in hiding, I wasn't alone. Cause of death, unlucky. Yeah man, that'll happen. There's not much I can do against fate. Oh, cool. I don't really know what this does. Well, not yet at least. World 20 got off to a much better start. I was able to get some stone tools, I found a bird, and after scanning it, I could fly. I love this mod, dude. Now, I've got to be very careful, because even though I can fly, the bird has very little health, and I almost biffed this run right away. I got a little bit of mining done, and was shortly thereafter graced by a village. The great thing about villages now is that it gives me access to the Iron Golem transformation, which gives you 4 bars of health as well as strength 5. The only problem is that the transformation also gives you slowness, and that messes with the FOV, and I find that really annoying. This will come up again later, so just keep that in mind. Anyways, I found a cave near the village, and while looking around, I ran into the all-seeing goon again. This time I beat the hell out of it, but his friend the cave dweller made sure to keep freaking me out. I got out of there, and while flying back to the village, I had a genius idea. What if I just live in the sky? I mean, what could reach me up there, right? Well, the days rolled on, I worked on the sky base, and on day 5, I thought I was still a bird. Dude, I feel like the f***ing Joker. I'm a broken man. I'm broken now. Yee. It's true. I am a broken man. Cause of death, I was not a bird. And we're spinning the wheel. Oh, cool. I didn't know much about this mod going into this, but it would prove to be a fantastic addition. Things started off pretty nicely in World 21. Well, okay, that was until nightfall, when every creature in the game appeared to attack me. Hell, even Slenderman wanted a piece of me. I didn't even know he was in any of these mods. And he left me with a single heart. I was able to get just far enough away to turn into a bird and barely dodge the brood mother. I spent the rest of that night flying around and looking for a village, but to no avail. I did find a ravine though, and I used a new trick I learned here, where you turn into a bird, fly into the air, and then while falling down, transform into a different mob. As long as you transform before you hit the ground, you'll retain the slow falling effect, which is pretty useful for people who are clumsy like me. I actually got a solid amount of mining done in this place, but it didn't take too long for me to get overwhelmed and make a break for the exit. The exit that I had to make. I was absolutely determined to find a village on day 3, and I was not going to stop flying until I found one. It was nighttime, and I still had no luck, but I did manage to avoid getting killed by the universe again. The meteors are actually really cool when you're not getting blown up by them. I did end up finding a village before long, and once I was there, I hit the sack. The next morning, I immediately fell off a cliff. Don't worry, there was water this time. I learned my lesson a few worlds ago that you should build your house a little above the water, so I got to work on a new home. I, of course, had some unwelcome company while I did so, but nothing too bad. I also used the Combine Ores mod to create an axe that lets me call down lightning from the sky. It's pretty cool. That didn't save me from the knocker though, who was stalking me harder than ever before. I'm pretty sure it's correlated to how much you use doors, hence the knocker, but he's a real son of a gun, man. I eventually finished my house for the time being and messed around for a bit until day 8 rolled around and I started mining again. I also wised up and turned off the dynamic FOV, which means now I can stay transformed as an iron golem without having to deal with the obnoxious zooming. Yes, I still have slow, but my eyes don't hurt. Is this cheese? Yes. Do I care? It's World 21. What do you think? Like I said before, I don't really like doing this, so I went back home to see if there was anything I could build to make my life easier. I ended up playing with some of the spells, you know, from the second mod I added. And while the push spell was kind of mid, the mine burst spell was an absolute game changer. It lets you tear through stone and such, making mining a much easier and more efficient task. I was pretty much digging straight down, which means I had to climb or fly to get out when I wanted to leave, and as a monkey, I got to zip right up the wall. Remember that. The next several days were spent down in that strip mine, and I went from sullen and kind of bored in the last couple worlds to writing in my notes, I'm actually having so much fun. All because I decided to look at the crafting table for a minute. The mine was huge though, so there were plenty of enemies spawning, like the cavern dweller, who I was able to kill, and his big brother, the cave dweller. Being an iron golem is absolutely the strat to survive, because I do a ridiculous amount of damage and can take a real beating. But alright, it's now day 14, and I've been down here for a long time. I'm gonna take a break. Now, remember how I said I could climb out of here? Well, I wanted to see if a squirrel could also climb walls, and it can. It just doesn't have much of a tolerance for fall damage. Cause of death, squirrels. I didn't have my mic on for that death, but I can only imagine I had some choice words to say about that. But I feel like we're finally on the right track. I just gotta keep at it. Oh cool, the fantasy stuff is pretty neat. It adds new structures, lots of mobs, some equipment. I like it. Now, guys, I can't help but feel like I need to point something out, and that is, I have not accomplished a single one of my 6 goals yet. Not one. So I was determined to do something right this time, and it started off really well. I found a village right away, which meant I could be an iron golem again, and after mining for most of the first day, I didn't get to go right to sleep, and instead I spent most of the night fighting off mobs in the village. It wasn't my plan, but things just never really slowed down, and before I knew it, it was day 2. On that day, I was able to acquire some sulfur gear, which is pretty strong, but not all too durable, and then I set out to find a cool place to live. Admittedly, I should have waited until daybreak because it was a very hectic night, but it was all worth it when I found this goblin tower. I dropped in with all my iron golem might and slayed a handful of them just to be rewarded with this, a netherite chest piece. Hell yeah, man. Finally something good. I really had to fight for it though. Those goblins had some backup, and so, as to not lose it all, I flew away from the tower and right into a castle next door. I didn't know what to expect, but the knights inside were friendly enough. The next day came and I needed a place to set up shop. I eventually settled for this stony shore area. A puppy came up and became my friend, naming her Dixie, like Dixie Kong. Hopefully Dixie doesn't get ruined in the future somehow. Then I started building a house, though this time it was in the ground. I feel like I blinked and all of a sudden it's day 6, but I was greeted on that day by a familiar tune. I broke the box and Krampus, go away! Well, I killed him, I think? I think he's dead. I don't know. Night came in no time, and as I was running around placing torches, I heard a terrible sound. Soon my screen was going black, and I had no idea where it was coming from. I ran away and went to sleep, but I was pretty bummed when in the morning the sound was still there, and my screen kept going dark. I tried my best to ignore it, and got to work on some serious mining. I mined for days, and when, on day 11, I came back to the surface, that damn sound was still there. I had to do something, so after finding the source, this black-robed guy, who I just called Death, I tried to bury him as deep as possible because, of course, you can't kill him. I dropped him down like 20 or so blocks, but that still wasn't enough. I could hear him from inside my house now, and it was driving me crazy. I had to get over it though, because just a few days later, I had some obsidian, and I built my first nether portal. Finally, gang, we've checked off a box. I entered the nether, and it sucked. Dead ends everywhere, loads of mobs, not a great time. In the overworld, I got a visit from the Knocker. Hey, man. Knocker left the game. What the hell does that even mean? Hey, man. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. And then for my own sanity, I had to start building a new house away from Death because it's now day 21 and he's still there. As I was building, I became Krampus's newfound obsession and he was attacking me daily. But I persisted. I kept building, and by day 27, I felt like I was pretty much done. And you know, it's kinda ugly, but I do actually like it a lot. I can honestly say that this is a house that I'm proud of. Check number 2. The next week was spent getting an enchanting table together, fighting off multiple tornadoes, making a boat dock, and getting some work done in the nether. That work included getting some wither skeleton skulls, which would ultimately be my downfall. I went back to the overworld, sailed a little ways out, and spawned the wither. Is he humping my body? I asked my friends if they knew about the wither exploding, and they told me I was an idiot for not knowing, so. Yeah, cause of death? Might be. You know, that death guy really killed my vibe in that run, so I wasn't too upset that it didn't go all the way. And hey, we've finally accomplished some things. Hell yeah. The Player Evolved mod lets you level up and gain permanent buffs. It's a huge help, but what was also a huge help for World 23 was my spawn. Not the snowy part, but the fact that there was a village close by. I got the Iron Golem transformation, and then like I did in the last world, flew over to a goblin tower I spotted in the distance. I raided that place. I think it's bar for bar the same loot every time, so I got another netherite chest piece, and then right next door was a castle. Again, just like last time. It occurred to me then, why not just live here? I mean, I'll build build my own place in due time, but for now, I'm living in the castle. I clicked claim rewards on the player evolved menu, and I got an inventory full of goodies. That's because after doing so much fighting in the Goblin Tower, I was level 40. I spent all that XP to level up, but then I just went back and forth between the castle and the Goblin Tower, farming XP and leveling my stats up. For instance, by day 5, I had leveled my resistance all the way up, which means I now, at all times mind you, transformed or not, have resistance 3 active. If you thought being an iron golem was cheese, then you are not gonna like the fact that I continued this process for almost 2 in-game weeks. I had some trouble along the way, like the Wendigo showing up for the first time, who I specifically remember reading is a real danger, but then just the next day, I was bodying a couple of them at once. It was day 12 when I did it. I achieved max level in every stat, which means I now permanently have the following: resistance 3, strength 3, mining luck 3, haste 3, speed 3, jump boost 3, and on top of that, when I hit something, I inflict fire 2, slowness 2, poison 2, levitation 2, wither 2, and it restores my hunger. Not to mention the totem of regeneration I have that gives me regen 3, the food totem I have... Sorry. The food totem that I have to hold on to for just a second to restore my food bar fully, and the fat health boost that being an iron golem gives you, as well as that taking my strength from 3 to 5. I should be virtually unstoppable at this point. Now that I'm so strong, it's actually time to go start mining, because I haven't really done any of that yet. Don't worry though, because with the special pickaxe I got as one of the rewards for leveling up, I now mine 3x3s when I break blocks, and with haste 3, I can maintain a full sprint and bust through terrain the whole time. I strip mined for a couple days until day 17 when I decided I should give the nether a spin. I was looking for another nether fortress so that I could farm more wither skeletons, and even though I did end up finding one and getting lots of blaze rods, I got kind of bored after a whole day of fighting there and decided to dip. And you know what's funny? My armor was broken and I had no idea. That's just how strong I am now. It's awesome. The next week or so was spent getting materials for, building, and messing around with an enchantment table. I then spent a handful of days grinding for netherite with minimal success. I spent a day getting coal because man, that coal runs out fast. And then on day 36, I made an enchanted uranium sword and named it Rachel. Why Rachel? Rachel McAdams. Duh. But okay, I've been alive for over an in-game month and I haven't really accomplished that much. I made it to the nether and that's it. So after gathering more wood than I could ever possibly need, I went out into the world proper to find a cool place to settle down. It took a couple days, but on day 42, I found this really cool mountain area that I knew I had to do something with. I returned home and accidentally stumbled upon an item called Homes, which lets you set points of interest and teleport back to them. I ran back to the mountain, set a point, and now I can teleport between my castle and my new building site. Also, hey, I forgot, my previous record, achieved in the previous world, was 39 days lived, and we are now in the 40s. What's funny though is my progress in the game really started to slow down a bit. I even wrote in my notes, I think by being invincible, I'm having less fun. Like, I'm strong and I earned it, kinda, but now I feel no fear about anything. It's sick to be strong, but being so hard carried by mods does definitely take some of the accomplishment out. When this video is all said and done, I still don't think I could really say that I beat hardcore Minecraft. But you know what? I'm still determined to win this. I got to work on my new house, with plenty of interruptions along the way. Well, that was terrifying. Gee, where is it? Oh, hey. I killed him! F that guy. Okay. Okay. Oh, dude, I forgot I had feather falling. Ooh, I'm totally fine. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Dude, what do you want from me? You're a silly guy. Silly guy. What does this stupid shit say? Beware the I'm not very good at math. I forgot I'm an iron golem. That is really funny. It took nearly 60 days, but I've now got a house that I like, minus the roof. I don't love that part, but hey man, roofs are hard. I've survived as long as I need to. I've been to the Nether, and I think I'm finally ready to take on the bosses. I took a trip back into the Nether to get some pearls, filled in the end portal, and started the battle against my first boss. Now, all transparency, I may have forgotten to bring arrows for my bow, but it didn't really matter because what I did bring was a ghast totem that allowed me to hawk and Tua all over those crystals. The Endermen tried desperately to save their beloved dragon, but I was dealing a pretty silly amount of damage with each one of my attacks, and I claimed victory without much of a sweat. That is one boss down. Over the next couple days, I went searching high and low for a warden. Well, mostly low, but you get what I mean. It wasn't until day 65 that I finally came toe-to-toe with one of those bad boys. Oh yeah. Keep you safe, Rachel. Wow. Yeah. Shoot. Alright, hit me, bro. Hit me. Let's see what you got. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Whew. Okay, yeah, I ran away, but that still counts. I killed like 3 of them. That then just leaves us with the Wither, and it was here on day 67 that I faced the final boss. I now had the knowledge that he doesn't just spin around to be silly, so I created some distance. Then, I leveled the playing field. I got close to the Wither with an Ender Pearl, scanned him with the Morph Gauntlet, and became quite literally unbeatable. With damn near a dozen bars of health, I chased the Wither high into the sky, sneaking in hits where I could. It eventually plummeted back towards the ground, and I was being kinda stupid and swapping mobs to try and catch it faster, but I played it safe and went back to being the Wither. Once we were no longer miles high, I slayed the final boss needed to complete this run. It was nightfall when our battle concluded, so I went to bed one last time. And here we are, folks. It's day 68, and I have officially sorta beaten hardcore Minecraft. I've been wanting to make a Minecraft video for a long time, and I think this was a great way to get started. Mods are so cool, and there's so many things out there that I'd like to try, so if you guys have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I had a lot of fun doing something a little different from my norm, aside from that evil knocker jerk, and I don't think Minecraft and I are quite done yet. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. That's it for me though. Thank you all for watching. GG's everybody.